If someone told you 5 years ago that learning Python basics could land you a six-figure software engineering job, would you have believed them? Probably not, but that is exactly what happened. And right now in 2026, the same window is open again, but this time it is for DevOps. I'm sharing practical advice and data from my own company and experience. And if you are already working in IT, whether in support, networking, system administration, or even basic development, you are in a better position than almost anyone else to take advantage of this. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 factors that are driving an explosion in DevOps demand across Europe and specifically here in Germany. What this means for your career and the exact roadmap you need to act on this before the window closes. Hi, I'm Sirat, a lawyer turned IT support and cybersecurity specialist. With a background in law and tech, I analyze how technology, cybersecurity, and geopolitics collide to shape global power. Here's something most people do not realize about tech careers. Every major tech skill follows a cycle: high demand, low supply, huge opportunity. Then slowly more people learn it, supply catches up, and the window closes. Think about what happened with software engineering in Germany over the past decade. Around 2013 and 2014, companies were disparate. If you could write basic code, understood loops and functions, maybe build a small project or two, companies were hiring you, training you on the job, paying competitive salaries because demand was massive and qualified people were rare. Then boot camps appeared everywhere. Universities expanded their computer science programs, more people upscaled, and suddenly basic coding was not enough. Now you need algorithms and a strong portfolio, whiteboard interviews, the whole package. This is not a bad thing, it is just a natural cycle. Supply caught up with the demand. And right now, DevOps is at the exact stages software engineering was back then. Demand is sky high, supply is nowhere near enough. Companies in Germany and across Europe are actively struggling to fill DevOps positions, and this is your window. If this resonated with you, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Now, I'm not just saying this to hype you up, let me give you some actual context because the numbers here are genuinely surprising. Across the industry, 37% of IT leaders name DevOps and DevSecOps as the biggest technical skill gap on their teams. Not a gap, the biggest gap. And DevOps positions on average stay open 3 times longer than any other IT role. 3 times. This is not a rounding errors, that is companies actively searching, interviewing, and still not finding the right people. In German market specifically, the demand is even sharper because Germany is in the middle of a massive digital transformation. Legacy industries, manufacturing, logistics, finance, healthcare, they are all moving to cloud infrastructure and modern software practices right now. And they need people who can bridge old systems with new ones. That is a DevOps problem. So the opportunity is not abstract, it is very real, very local, and very much available to you right now. So why is this demand not just growing, but exploding? Here are the 5 factors that are all hitting at the same time. Factor 1. Cloud adoption is accelerating faster than anyone predicted. German companies, especially in the Mittelstand, the backbone of the German economy, are finally making the move from on-premise infrastructure to cloud infrastructure or environments. And this is not a slow shift. Regulations like GDPR already forced companies to modernize their data handling. Now the infrastructure is following. Every single one of those migrations need a DevOps engineer to make it happen safely and efficiently. Companies are competing with each other for that talent right now. Factor 2. Containers and Kubernetes went from cutting edge to expected. A few years ago, if you were mentioned Kubernetes in a job interview in Germany, it was a nice bonus. Today, it appears in the requirements section of job postings, not the nice to have section. Companies need engineers who can deploy, manage, and scale containerized applications. And most of the people applying simply do not have that skill yet. So if you do, or when you do, you immediately stand out. Factor 3. Security is no longer optional, and that is creating huge demand. You have probably noticed how frequently you hear about major data breaches. Barely a week goes by without another headline. And companies are under serious pressures from regulators, from the EU's NIS2 directive, from customers, and from their own leadership to take security seriously. The old way of building first and security later is completely dead. Now security needs to be integrated at every single step of the development and deployment processes. This is what people call shifting left. And DevSecOps, or DevSecurityOps, which is DevOps with security backed in from the start, it is no longer a specialization. It is becoming a baseline requirement, and that creates enormous demand for people who understand it. Factor 4. Infrastructure as code is replacing manual configuration everywhere. The days of manually clicking through cloud consoles to set up servers are fading fast. Companies want infrastructure that is written as code, version controlled, tested, and deployed automatically using tools like Terraform and Ansible. This is now standard practice in modern IT teams across Germany and Europe. Engineers who can do this are genuinely difficult to find, and the ones who can command significantly higher salaries as a result. Please tell me, at which step are you? Are you working and in which field? Please write it in the comments section. I respond with full details. Factor 5. And this one is the biggest shift of all. AI is not replacing DevOps, it is making DevOps more valuable. This is the part where I want you to really pay attention, because there is a lot of noise about AI replacing tech jobs, and some of that is true for certain roles. I also published a new video, and you can see the link on the right or left side of this video. Watch it later. But DevOps is different. Here's why. Yes, AI is automating routine coding tasks. Things that used to take a junior developer a full day can now be generated in minutes with tools like GitHub, Copilot, or ChatGPT. That is compressing the value of basic isolated coding skills. But what AI cannot do is think architecturally. AI cannot decide how your entire cloud infrastructure should be designed. It cannot make judgment calls about security trade-offs. It cannot troubleshoot a distributed system failing in production at 2 in the morning. It cannot connect the dots between your CI/CD pipeline, your Kubernetes cluster, your monitoring stack, and your cloud environment, and figure out why something is broken. Those are system-level architectural decisions, and that is exactly what a DevOps engineer does. So while AI is reducing the value of isolated coding, it is actually increasing the demand for the kind of holistic system-level thinking that DevOps requires. And here's the second layer of this that most people completely miss. Every company building AI features or AI products now needs DevOps infrastructure to support them. Machine learning models need to be deployed, monitored, retained, and scaled. That entire pipeline is a DevOps problem. MLOps, which is essentially DevOps applied to machine learning, is one of the fastest growing specializations in tech right now. So AI is not just leaving DevOps untouched, it is actively creating more DevOps works. Two forces driving command upward at the same time. That is why this moment is so significant. Now, here is something worth understanding. The reason companies struggle to find DevOps engineer is not because DevOps is impossibly hard, it's because DevOps sits at the intersection of multiple disciplines that most people have only experienced from one side. While there is an acute shortage of approximately 109,000 IT specialists as of today, publishing this video, across the country in Germany, the everyone is hiring era of 2021-2022 has of course passed. I have to be honest with that. Companies are now prioritizing experienced professionals with specialized T-shaped skills over junior generalists. What do I mean by T-shaped? Developers know codes, but not infrastructure. System administrators know infrastructure, but not modern development practices. Network engineers understand connectivity, but not automation pipelines. DevOps engineers need to understand all of it, and that combination is rare. You need to understand how applications are built and deployed, how infrastructure scales in the cloud, how to automate repetitive processes, how to implement security throughout the pipeline, and how to monitor and troubleshoot troubleshoot production systems when things go wrong. Most people in IT today have deep knowledge in one or two of those areas. Very few have a working understanding of all of them, and that gap is exactly why positions stay open for months. Of course, you don't have to be expert in all of them. Like T-shaped, you have to be expert in one and also know the other ones at the working level. But here's the flip side. Once you build that combination of skills, you become genuinely valuable in a way that is hard to replace. You can speak the language of developers and the language of operations. You become the bridge between teams, and companies pay very well for that bridge. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to write it in the comments section below. I read and respond in full details. So what does that path actually look like? Here's a clear sequence based on what actually shows up in German and European job descriptions and what I see currently in my own company. Start with the foundations, Linux and basic networking. Then layer on Git and scripting with Bash or Python. From there, move into Docker and containers. Once you have that, learn to build CI/CD pipelines. This is the absolute core of DevOps. Pick one of Jenkins, GitHub Actions, or GitLab CI and get very comfortable with it. After that, move into cloud. AWS is the most widely requested in Germany right now, but Azure is also very common, especially in enterprise environments. Then move into Kubernetes. Once you have your cloud fundamentals solid, then infrastructure as code with Terraform. And finally, monitoring with tools like Prometheus and Grafana. The sequence matters a lot. Do not jump ahead. You cannot build a strong second floor without a solid foundation. And more importantly, learn these skills together, not in isolation. Practice connecting your CI/CD pipeline to your Kubernetes cluster. Automate your infrastructure, provisioning with Terraform while deploying to AWS. That end-to-end thinking is what separates a capable DevOps engineer from someone who just knows a list of tools. 6 to 9 months of structured, focused learning. Of course, it takes time. That is a realistic timeline to go from where you are now to job ready. Here's how I want you to leave with this. 10 years ago, the people who moved early into software engineering built incredible careers. They got in before the market was saturated. Some of them are now senior engineers, team leads, CTOs. The window was open and they walked through it. That same window is open right now for DevOps. The demand is enormous. The supply of qualified engineers is genuinely very low, and Germany specifically is in the middle of a digital transformation that is only going to increase that demand over the next several years. But this window will not stay open forever. Just like software engineering, the supply will eventually catch up. Bootcamps will multiply. More people will upskill. The bar will raise. That is not a reason to panic. It is a reason to move with intention now rather than wait for the perfect moment. If you are already working in IT in Germany or across Europe, you are honestly in one of the best starting positions possible. Your existing knowledge of systems, networking, or support is not irrelevant. It is actually your foundation. You are not starting from zero, you are adding the next layer. So the question is not whether the opportunity is real, it clearly is. The question is what you are going to do about it. If this video gave you any clarity or pushed you to think differently about your career direction, leave a comment and tell me where you are right now in your IT journey. I read every single one, and if you want more content about building an IT career in Germany or across Europe as an expat or international professional, make sure you subscribe because this is exactly what this channel is all about. I will see you in the next one where it shows my daily work as an IT support and cybersecurity technician here in Frankfurt.